Hi, my name is Sarah. I joined the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention back in 2016 after losing my friend and college roommate Savannah to suicide. Since then, I've jumped in full force with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention's North Carolina Chapter, and I currently serve as the co-chair for the UNC Chapel Hill Out of the Darkness Walk, as well as a board member for the NC chapter for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and I run the Public Policy Committee as the co-chair. So we just want to say hello and welcome to our very first NC statewide virtual Out of the Darkness campus walk. We want to thank you for joining us today. And we also want to thank you for your patience if any glitches or issues happen as we go, since a lot of us are first timers for Zoom and Facebook Live and all of that. So this, of course, is a time of uncertainty, but it is also a time that is proving the importance of connection. A time to take care of and pay attention to our own, as well as others' physical and mental health in a way that we never needed to before. I hope that you are all taking care of yourselves, checking in with family and friends, and finding ways to stay active during this time. And as always, if you or someone you know is struggling, please remember these numbers and add them to your phones. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 1-800-273-TALK. And the crisis text line is 741-741, and you can text TALK to them. So this is a really weird time for all of us. We're trying to figure out hobbies. I've realized throughout this pandemic that I don't really have any hobbies, so I'm working on figuring that out. I recently bought a pair of rollerblades, so when those come in, we'll see how well that goes. Other than that, I'm watching The Office, doing my grad school work, and hanging out with my dog. So by joining in today, you are sending a message that our cause of suicide prevention will never be canceled, because it can't be. We cannot let another day go by without showing that mental health is and always will be as real as physical health. You are showing others that suicide, which is currently the 10th leading cause of death in the US and the second leading cause of death among 15 to 24-year-olds, can no longer be ignored. Suicide is a health issue that affects us all. You are a part of a national movement, and today you are showing that we do not need to be together in person to raise our voices to prevent suicide. So thank you again for joining in today and supporting the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and our Out of the Darkness walks. Without you, our mission to save lives and bring hope to those affected by suicide would not be possible. So thank you. And now I'm going to pass the mic to Stephanie Jones.
Thanks, Sarah. My name is Stephanie Jones, and I'm the walk chair for the Surf City Out of the Darkness Campus Walk. We started the Surf City Walk because we lost my brother-in-law, Tanner Jones, to suicide only 8 days after his 23rd birthday. Tanner had a huge heart and the brightest smile. I can only hope that this walk brings hope and healing to our community for all of those lost or struggling. I have the honor today of recognizing and thanking our generous sponsors. The sponsors for the Surf City Walk are as follows. Our Lifesaver level sponsors are Teresa Batts Real Estate and Southern Roots Grill. Our champion level sponsors are Gilligan's, Batson's Galley Family Restaurant, The Trailer Bar, Freedom Sound, Gideon Heating and Air, The Peak Tap Room, CLB Custom Homes, and Hutchinson's Law Firm. Our supporter level sponsors are the Kiwanis Club of Topsail Island Area, Treasure Realty, Surf City Ocean Pier, Herring's Outdoor Sports, Osprey Home Inspections, Ashley Horrell Hair, Tara Lamb Photography, Topsail Island Trading Company, Britco Farms, Shaka Taco, Surf City Surf School, Daddy Mac's Beach Grill, Thread FX, Coral Cottage Boutiques, Buddy's Crab House and Oyster Bar, Jackson Signs, Seaside Topsail Photography, Lewis Realty, the Town of Surf City, Holly Ridge Mini Storage, The Gathering, Highway 55 Burgers, Shakes, and Fries in Surf City, Atlantic Food Mart, Mia's Marketplace, and Tom Sessions Motorsports. Our booster sponsors are Sandy Toes Boutique, Carolina Coast Contracting, and Carolina Coast Real Estate. Thank you so much to our Surf City sponsors. We couldn't do this without your support. One other campus walk had a sponsor this year. Our Wake Forest University walk was sponsored by the Wake Forest University School of Business. And our AFSP National Walk sponsor is the Allergan Foundation. Thank you, sponsors, for showing the world that suicide prevention is everyone's business. And now, here is Mary He.
Thank you, Stephanie. Hello, everyone. My name's Mary. I'm the co-chair of Wake Forest University Out of Darkness Walk and the co-president of Wake Forest Psychology Club. The Wake Forest Psychology Club was going to host our second Out of Darkness Walk at the end of April this year. Though we can't walk together in person because of the current situation, we still want to be here to support the suicide prevention cause. I personally support suicide prevention because of my cousin and my close friend who have struggled with suicide. And also because of one of my closest friends on campus who has lost her sister to suicide. Today, I'm privileged to recognize our top participant fundraisers. As of today, our walks have altogether raised over $38,500 with 405 participants. And 59 teams signed up for our 6 Out of the Darkness campus walks this spring. One walk, the Surf City Walk, has raised a whopping $26,281 to date, which means it has surpassed its $25,000 goal. Great job, Surf City! And while we know that our walk numbers would have doubled if the walks had been held in person, we want to give a huge thank you to our top fundraisers who worked so hard to raise money for our mission. Thank you, Jennifer Verney and Caitlin McKinney from Surf City, Ling Anfal and Rachel Marsh from Greater Raleigh, Sarah Cothran from UNC Chapel Hill, Mike Houghton and Becky Borneman from Surf City, Betsy Rose and Gabrielle Duncan from UNC Chapel Hill, and Stephanie Jones from Surf City. And now we are going to recognize the top teams.
Thank you, Mary. Hi, my name is Frank Batts, and I am the chair for the Appalachian State Out of Darkness Walk. And today I have the privilege of recognizing the top teams. Team Nick from Surf City, Feast on Change from Greater Raleigh, Surf City Fire Department from Surf City, Silver Fox from UNC Chapel Hill, Team Sean from Surf City, Walkin' Right from Surf City, Team Luke Dog from UNC Chapel Hill, Light Shine Bright from Surf City, Team Rex from UNC Chapel Hill, and then Live Like Tanner from Surf City. Thank you all for your hard work and passion to save lives and bring hope to those affected by suicide. And now here's Will Leathers from Elon University.
Thanks, Frank. I'm Will Leathers, and I'm the Sigma Phi Epsilon Philanthropy Chair at Elon University. The Sigma Phi Epsilon has started supporting AFSP North Carolina due to the loss of a friend and teammate, Breslin Wiley. And so today, if any of you are watching from a school that doesn't have a walk, you might be thinking you want to bring an Out of Darkness walk to your campus. Well, the reality is a walk isn't always the best event for a campus. And two, the AFSP can offer support for more than just a walk. And my school, Elon, is the perfect example. In 2018, Elon University began its relationship with the North Carolina Chapter of the AFSP. That year, AK Psi fraternity held a 5K run in honor of Trent Stetler, a student at Elon and fraternity member who died by suicide in 2015. That first year, the Trent Stetler 5K raised over $3,000 for the AFSP, and in 2019, it raised more than $4,000 for suicide prevention. At both events, the AFSP brought a table full of its resources and had a representative on hand to speak at the event. This year's 5K was scheduled in March, but of course, that didn't happen. Also last year, my own fraternity, Sigma Phi Epsilon, decided to raise money for the AFSP in honor of the 2017 loss of my friend and Elon Club baseball teammate, Breslin Wiley. Our SIGUP Rodeo Week raised nearly $20,000 last March and was supported by the AFSP North Carolina Chapter. This year, I was the philanthropy chair for SIGEP, and we planned our rodeo week for the week of April 6th. And then, of course, because of this pandemic, our big on-campus fundraiser was canceled. Still, we want Elon University to participate in today's Facebook Live event, not only to remember Trent and Breslin, but also to honor the bravery of all of our Elon brothers and sisters who struggle and fight mental health conditions. This fall, the AFSP will be even more active at Elon, and it's aimed to bring more resources to our campus, including the state's first Campus Survivors of Suicide Loss Day event in November. Thank you, Elon, for being champions in the fight against suicide. And one last thing, if you don't have a walk or AFSP event or program on your campus, contact your AFSP staff partners to discuss options. Just shoot an email to northcarolina@afsp.org today, and they'll get back to you next week. Now, here is Tiffany and Kenya.
Thanks, Will. My name is Kenya, and I serve as co-chair for the North Carolina Chapter of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. I got involved with AFSP because I lost a dear friend to suicide. We, like many people, just did not see it coming, and I didn't want anyone else that I knew to have that feeling. I also have a very dear friend who struggles with thoughts of suicide and anxiety, and I'm a part of her lifeline. I wanted to pay it forward by providing training to others because I may not always be available for her when she reaches out to me. So I wanted to make sure that if I train someone in my area, maybe there'll be someone that's trained in her area, and when she reaches out, there'll be someone there to assist her.
Hi, I'm Tiffany. I am also co-chair for the North Carolina chapter of AFSP. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I provide mental health services and trainings to veterans, family, and our community at large. I am also a 3-time suicide loss survivor. We lost my best friend's dad, Mr. Quincy, in 1992, which was my senior year in high school. Following that, I lost a good friend, Candace, who was also a classmate and a neighbor in 1995 during her freshman year at UNC Charlotte. In 2014, we lost a good family friend, Parker, to suicide. Parker was a pharmacist in the Durham area. I walk in their name, their memory, and also so that no other family has to go through what our family and friends went through, and so that people do not have to suffer in silence and that they know that help's available.
We are honored that you have joined us today. While this is certainly a day of remembrance and healing, it is also a day for celebration and hope. We want to celebrate you because it is you and your hard work volunteering, leading, raising funds, and working to raise awareness about mental health and suicide prevention. Whether you have lost a loved one to suicide, been engaged in your own fight against suicide, or you are here in support of your family and friends, we thank you for being here and for being the voice for our cause.
This year, thousands of participants just like you are participating in nearly 580 Out of the Darkness walks across the country that will raise over $26 million. Your presence here today is breaking the silence surrounding suicide and mental illness. AFSP's mission is to save lives and bring hope to those affected by suicide. The funds raised at this walk are helping AFSP with the bold goal to reduce the rate of suicide by 20% by 2025. These walks help fund innovative and exciting research that will enable us to find better ways to stop suicide. They fund advocacy events that lobby for better mental health legislation. They fund education programs like the It's Real college film and our Talk Saves Lives program. And the money goes to help our survivors of suicide loss find comfort and hope through our many loss and healing programs.
Thanks to all of you, the AFSP North Carolina is able to bring AFSP programs to our local communities, including More Than Sad, International Survivors of Suicide Loss Day, Talk Saves Lives presentations, and the Seize the Awkward ad campaign, plus much, much more. Thanks to the walk donations from last year, our North Carolina chapter was able to grow its Healing Conversations program, offering peer support to those that are new to suicide loss. We also held 3 Research Connection events, held our State Day event in Raleigh to advocate for a law that would mandate that all public schools train all staff in suicide prevention. In 2019, we presented 463 suicide prevention educational programs to more than 91,000 North Carolina citizens across our state.
Here and in all 50 states, the AFSP is run 99% by volunteers. Thank you to all the volunteers who have helped make this virtual event possible today. Thank you to our 22 board members for the devotion and leadership. And a great big thank you to all of you for helping the AFSP create a culture that's smart about mental health. You are letting others know that they are not alone in their struggle or in their loss. You are making a difference. And now here's Kathy Foster.
Thanks, Kenyon and Tiffany. Hi, all. I'm Kathy Foster, and I'm the chair of the 2021 Central Coast Campus Walk to be held at Carteret Community College next spring. I became connected to suicide in 2003 when I lost my son, who was 19 years old at the time, Joshua, to suicide. I've been asked to tell you about many resources available to those who are struggling with a mental health issue. You may have already noticed that in our Facebook chat box, we have pinned to the top of the page both the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 1-800-273-TALK, and the crisis text line, which is Text Talk 741-741. Please know that these lines are not only for those experiencing a suicidal crisis, but also available for those keeping watch over someone in a crisis, and also for those concerned or worried that someone they know may be thinking about suicide. Also on your screen, you'll see the national resources, including phone numbers and website addresses for the Trevor Project, the National Sexual Assault Hotline, TWLOHA, or To Write Love on Her Arms, and a link to the My3 app, which can help you create a safety plan. The next screen shows resources in North Carolina, including the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, North Carolina 211, which is a free referral and information helpline that connects people to a wide range of health and human services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, by simply dialing the numbers 211 from any phone. And 2, we have information about several community partners such as Hopeline, Navigator, NAMI, North Carolina Mental and Health America, also known as MHA. And then 2, if you're a student on one of our campuses, represented by our campus walks here today, the next screen also shows links to your individual campus mental health services. Those services are still available even during the pandemic. We know it's not easy asking for help, but we also know it's okay to ask for help. Recognizing you're struggling and then asking for help is incredibly brave and courageous. It's also incredibly smart. You're saving you. And 2, if you are worried about a friend or loved one, please realize that you may be the only person who's brave enough to ask to take action on their behalf. Lots of people have fears or concerns. True heroes act by seizing the awkward and having a brave conversation. And so here are some resources for having that conversation, and also how you can support someone who is grieving a loss. Last but never least, contact us. Here are the contact details for reaching the North Carolina chapter. We are here for you. Okay, that's all from me. And now here's Kennedy Fowle.
Thanks, Kathy. I'm Kennedy Fowle, chair of the Greater Raleigh Walk at NC State University, and I've been asked to share my story today. I've always dealt with anxiety my whole life, but it was more manageable until high school. After my junior year, I began struggling with depression as a result of many factors, but mainly because of a toxic relationship that had me doubting my self-worth. For me, the world stopped on Valentine's Day of 2016. The monster that is depression decided that I should end my life. I am proud to say that I am still here and that I received help during my crisis that allowed me to manage my mental health in a positive way. That day became a stepping stone for me to help others with mental health conditions. That fall, I started college and dedicated my life to supporting the mental health community. I also found AFSP that fall and attended my first community walk in my hometown of Fuquay-Varina in the same park that I almost ended my life. I took that as a sign, and I became an intern for the AFSP that next year and successfully created a walk at the university I was attending. Being a part of AFSP has been the most positive, life-changing organization I have ever been a part of. And now after 3 years, I will be passing the torch of Campus Walk Chairman because I'm graduating college. But for anyone who is struggling, please, please, please know that you're not alone and that there are so many resources available for you. Thank you so much. Here again is Stephanie Jones.
Thanks so much, Kennedy, for sharing your story. Once again, it's Stephanie Jones here from Surf City. At this time, we will have our honor bead ceremony. For those watching this ceremony during our Facebook live stream event, please share this experience with us. As a bead color is introduced, please post a note or a selfie holding your beads or a sign to show you also wear that color and to show solidarity with all who do. At the end, when the blue beads are introduced to show support for our cause, we hope to see a flood of posts and an ocean of blue notes, photos, and selfies. Now, let's begin our ceremony. Each of us has our own stories and our own reasons for being here. As we are virtually gathered here today, we remember those reasons, and we share a symbol to keep them in our sight and in our heart. Our honor beads pay tribute to a loved one lost, a personal struggle, or a victory. They come in many colors, representing the diversity of our community's connections to this cause. We have invited some of our top volunteers to participate in our virtual honor bead ceremony today. It is our pleasure to have these extraordinary AFSP family members represent their loved ones here today. White represents the loss of a child.
Hello, my name is Kathy Foster, and today I wear beads of white in honor of my son Joshua, who died at age 19. Joshua was born prematurely. He lived life at full throttle. He became a certified cavern diver at the age of 13. He loved making modifications to his Jeep, which I nicknamed the Speaker on Wheels, and was always full of energy. He was quick to smile and was always up for a caper. For those of you who have also lost your child to suicide, I want to offer you acceptance and understanding. The burden of living after the death of a child by suicide can feel overwhelming. You can feel isolated and even question your own purpose. But please know that you are not alone and that the folks at AFSP stand ready to support you as you create your new normal. My message today is to be brave and to ask the hard question. Chances are, if you're concerned about your friend or family member having thoughts of suicide, the answer is yes. To the young folks viewing this presentation, please reach out to a trusted adult if you believe your friend is contemplating suicide. My son had communicated that he was suicidal to a close friend and that he had acquired lethal means. She kept the secret. Suicidal ideation is not a secret that you keep. Reach out for help. I would much rather have a friend angry at me because I broke their confidence than attend that friend's funeral. Ask the question, save a life.
Red represents the loss of a partner or spouse.
I'm sharing here today for my dear friend Ann Sia. Ann could not be with us on our program today, but has asked me to share her color with you. Ann is a devoted member of our board and even helped get our chapter started. She co-chairs our Loss and Healing Committee and coordinates our 11 International Survivors of Suicide Loss Day events across North Carolina. This is Ann's story. I wear the red beads for the loss of my spouse, James. James died from suicide in November 2011. He struggled with bipolar disorder and substance use disorder. James was a funny, really smart guy who was so proud of his two daughters, Erin and Dana. He enjoyed taking them camping and fishing, teaching them how to shoot a bow and arrow, and watching SpongeBob SquarePants with them. James was compassionate. After he died, we learned of the many ways that he helped others. And now, in his memory, I go on to help others who have lost someone to suicide. This is a picture of Ann's family with her husband, James, and his two daughters in happier times.
Gold represents the loss of a parent.
Hello, my name is Ginger Bruce with Team Lights Shine Bright in Surf City, North Carolina. Today I represent the gold beads for the loss of a parent. I'm walking today in remembrance of my father, Pete Purvis, who died by suicide in 1982 at the age of 32. At the time I was 7 years old and I had a younger sister who was 5 years old. I can still remember the love that he had in his eyes for us, and I can still remember the way that he smelled. That was 38 years ago. He was loved by so many people, and I still see people get choked up when they talk about him, even though it's been decades ago. You know, at such a young age, it really left us with a lot of questions and affected us on a foundational level because we were so young when that happened. So everything kind of grew from that point for us. I was thankful to have a mom that knew the importance of getting us into counseling and just doing the most that she could to help us through that time and to grow through what we had all experienced. So my message today is that each of you remember the importance of personal development, some type of self-help every single day, whether that be to read, listen to a fun podcast, to join in events just like we have going on here where we're supporting others. That would be my encouragement to you. Remember, we're all coming out of the darkness and we all have a really bright light to shine, so never let yours stop shining. Thanks so much.
Orange represents the loss of a sibling.
Today, I am wearing the orange beads in honor of my brother Tanner. He died by suicide at the age of 23 in March of 2016. And I believe he spent more time in the ocean than out. He was always either like fishing or surfing, and he was just super kind-hearted. And he was the best brother I could have asked for. So today, I'm wearing the orange beads in memory of him and anyone else who has struggled as well.
Purple represents the loss of another family member or friend.
So I wear purple in honor of my friend and teammate Breslin Wiley, who lost his life in October of 2017. Breslin was a great friend, teammate, son, and brother. He'll always be remembered for how much he cared for others and was able to make people smile and laugh. He was a catcher on the Elon Club baseball team, but more importantly, a friend to so many. Last year, Elon Sigma Phi Epsilon switched their philanthropy efforts to honor Breslin and other members of the community suffering with mental health difficulties. This year, we are looking to help people find resources during this tough time and would like to let people know that these resources can help so that we don't lose great friends like Breslin.
Silver represents the loss of a military member or first responder.
This This is my uncle, David Edgar Matthews. Uncle David was someone I never knew even existed in my family. Uncle David died before I was born at the age of 30. He was born on September 3rd, 1901, and died on September 3rd, 1931, his 30th birthday, by suicide. This picture is in a family portrait that I still have from my great-grandmother, who kept a record. When I asked my father about Uncle David, he said, "Yeah, that was my uncle. He came back from the war messed up." Uncle David was in World War I, and he obviously had post-traumatic stress disorder. He probably had other mental health conditions, because I've since found that mental health conditions run in my family. And at that time, there was simply not a lot of treatment. We didn't understand it. I walk for my Uncle David. I also walk because I support the military and our first responders. And I want them to know that being strong means getting the help they need. That's true strength. And so I walk representing silver.
Green represents someone who has a personal struggle or is an attempt survivor.
Hi, my name is Jesse Chin, and I wear the green beads to represent my personal struggle with suicidal ideation. While I have not made an attempt, I have struggled with ideations for a little over 6 years now. Back when my ideations first started manifesting, I thought I was on my own. I felt so alone and like I couldn't tell anyone for the fear of losing friends or family members. Eventually, I began to seek out counseling and started working on moving past my fear of losing relationships and to work through my ideations. Eventually, I was able to come out to a few of my loved ones, and they made me realize that I was not alone and that they would always be there to support me. I walk to let others know that they are not alone, and there are countless people who care and want to help. So please, if you are struggling as I have and still do, reach out to someone. There are people who want to help.
Teal represents someone who supports a friend or family member who has a personal struggle or is an attempt survivor.
Hi, my name is Carly Ballard. As a nursing student, since working with Out of the Darkness, I've been exposed to a side of healthcare that I wasn't originally comfortable with, and that's mental health. My involvement has helped me to recognize when people around me are struggling. Today, I represent the Teal Beads. Some of the kindest women in my life have been challenged mentally. I met the most loving student leader this year who devotes her energy to those around her. It was not until she sparked conversation with me about her anxiety and depression that I realized how inspiring she was. I'm realizing that she has many off days, but to learn to incorporate habits in her routine that strengthen her mental health on a daily basis. I also began to recognize that all ages struggle with mental health. At the nursing home where I work as a nursing assistant, I'm often engaged in hard conversations. Many individuals have expressed no longer wanting to live, and it's heartbreaking to hear that from those I care for. It's easy to talk about a broken hip. It's much harder to talk about a broken heart. I wear the beads for my sweet friend who never gives up on herself, and for the elderly who feel hopeless while unable to see their families. It may be hard to recognize who needs some extra love. I challenge you to treat all people with compassion. Your actions, no matter how small, impact those around you.
And the last color is blue. It represents anyone who supports the cause of the AFSP and its mission to save lives and bring hope to those affected by suicide. At this time, all of us wear blue to show that we are the voice for suicide prevention. Thank you to those courageous people who shared their stories here today. They represent our dedication, our commitment, and our strength as a community. And thank you to everyone watching. Together, we are bringing mental health and suicide prevention out of the darkness. And here is Jesse Chin.
Thanks, Stephanie. As mentioned in the bead ceremony, I wear the green beads to support myself and everyone else who struggles with suicidal ideation or has been affected. I'm the co-chair of the Western Carolina University Out of the Darkness Campus Walk. And all right, everybody, it's time. We have to put our mission in motion. Right now, we want everyone who is watching to go and do some healthy self-care activity of your choice. You can run, take a stroll, walk your dog, swim a few laps, jump on an indoor mini trampoline if you have one, get on the treadmill, whatever you want to do, just do it. And please post a selfie of you doing your activity and tag the AFSP NC Chapter's Facebook page. And also tell us why you walk, who you walk for, why you support the cause, or you can just post a simple note of encouragement for those who struggle. Our live stream event will run up until 1 p.m. and we'll be doing shout outs and reading your post out loud until then. So now, join me everyone for our countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's move, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.